Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Mermail Atlantean. I've already released a combo guide on this video, so I'm just talking about the deck, the cards, everything right now. The deck is really good. I just finished getting to Diamond 5 with it. It's only taken me, I think, 3 days of playing to get to Diamond 5 from all the way down in Rookie. Really solid, powerful deck. You climb really fast with it. It's a lot of fun to use, and it's also really cheap. There's only 8 main deck URs. Neptibus is a 3 of, Mermail Shadow Squad is a 3 of. You play 1 copy of Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth, and then you need to play 1 for 1. So it's really cheap, to be honest. Alright, let's talk about the deck and what you guys can do with it. For the hand traps, we were playing 2 copies of Max C, 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, 2 copies of Called by the Grave, 3 Imperms, and 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. Pretty standard. I know that a lot of people like to play Mulcharmy Fualos. I have not been playing Mulcharmy Fualos. I do see that has negatively impacted my going second win rate. So it is probable that it is more likely that you should be playing Fualos as well. But I can't find a good spot to cut the cards, and I don't want to play this deck at 45. I guess it's hard to say. You could cut Poseidra, the Storming Atlantean, Right Hand Shark, and I guess you would play 43 cards, and you'd have 3 Mulcharmies. So there you go. That's an option. It would make your deck less consistent, but you would win more going second. Alright. The hand traps are all pretty standard. You guys know what they all do by now, so I won't waste any time on them. Let's go ahead and talk about the main deck. The entire deck is one engine. I don't have to talk about like a big package. It is important to note this deck is very focused on ripping the opponent's hand, but the Mermail and Atlantean cards don't actually do any of that. All of the cards that do that are the generic water support. So there are a lot of generic water support cards in this deck that allow you to tear cards out of your opponent's hand, which is very beneficial. And the Mermail cards, actually, the only reason that the Mermail cards are here is because they provide an extremely efficient engine. So for the people who are frustrated with this deck and want to see some bans, to be honest, they could ban, certainly, Barrier Statue of the Torrent, and they probably will ban Barrier Statue of the Torrent, to be honest, because they banned Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds when that card saw play, and that card is still banned to this day. So the fact that Barrier Statue of the Torrent can see play right now probably is going to get banned. But really, to be honest, what they should do, and this would fix the problem entirely, is they should either ban Dragoons or put Dragoons to 1. Dragoons being a searcher. So Atlantean Dragoons is a level 4 Sea Serpent. All your level 3 or lower Sea Serpent monsters can attack directly. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, add 1 Sea Serpent monster from your deck to your hand except Atlantean Dragoons. This effect being mandatory is very interesting, because what that means is that it will always be chain blocked by optional effects, even optional effects that take place on the field. Dragoons is ridiculous. It's very powerful to just constantly search for every Sea Serpent you want, and there's no restrictions. It doesn't have to be an Atlantean, doesn't have to be a Mermail, doesn't have to be level 3, doesn't have to be level 4, doesn't have to be anything. So it's just think about it this way. If you had a warrior monster that said play Reinforcement of the Army every time this card went to the graveyard. That card would be insanely broken. Same thing with Atlantean Dragoons. So this is the problem. This card right here is the issue. And this card, I think, probably should get limited to 1, but that would probably kill the Atlantean deck. And they don't want to do that because they just released it. So they'll probably ban Barrier Statue, and they will also probably ban Mullen Glacia, the Elemental Lord. So I do want to make that clear to you guys. I do think that Konami is very likely to ban some of these cards. Just so you understand before you invest. Alright, let's talk about the deck. Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. This card is disgustingly good. Level 1 Sea Serpent. You can send 1 Atlantean monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. Add 1 Atlantean card from your deck to your hand, except Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. If this card is sent to the graveyard, activated Water Monster's effect, target 1 Atlantean monster in your graveyard, except Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince, and special summon it. Another mandatory effect, and a very, very good one. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, so Neptibus is crazy. This card is a 1-card combo that gives you Barrier Statue of the Torrents, Adamancipator Dragites, Neptibus King Mermail, Neptibus the Mermail King, which is a link 3, Abyss Dweller, and Ice Jade Gimmer Adrian. Along with, you have Virtue Stream, and then your opponent has lost 3 cards. So, disgustingly broken, very consistent card. It wins the game for you all on its own. That's why we're playing 1 for 1, so we have 4 copies of it. You absolutely have to play this card at 3. If this card gets impermed, it's not a problem. Because you pitch the Mermail Shadow Squad for cost, so they can't stop that from resolving. The search effect is very important, because the search effect gives you your combo, but because you're playing 3 copies of Dragoons anyway, a lot of times Neptibus's first effect for me gets Ash, but I just have Dragoon in my hand, so it actually changes literally nothing. So I will say that if you want to know how to stop this deck, you want to Ash Mermail Shadow Squad's ability to special summon from the deck. That is the Ash target. Alright. Neptibus is insane. We have Deep Sea Sentry at 1. This is a level 2 Sea Serpent monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a Water Monster's effect, you can make your opponent banish 1 card from their hand face up until the end phase. That is a very good effect. The opponent does get to choose what card they banish, but it gives you targets for your Deep Sea monsters, which is very good. If this card is special summon, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, target a level 4 or lower water monster in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. This will get you more copies of Dragoons so that you can keep discarding it, so that you can keep searching. Very, very strong. We have Deep Sea Minstrel at 1. Deep Sea Minstrel is a level 3 Tuner Sea Serpent monster with 1200 attack and 1500 defense. You can discard this card and 1 other water monster, which will be your Deep Sea Sentry. Look at your opponent's hand and banish 1 card from their hand face up until the end phase. In this one, you get to choose. If this card is special summon, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then target 1 level 4 or lower water monster in your graveyard and place it on the top or the bottom of your deck. That effect is actually not mandatory, and I would not recommend using it unless you are in a situation where you absolutely have to shuffle a card back. Typically speaking, at that point of the combo, it is because you have too many fish in your graveyard. There's only 4 fish monsters in the deck, and you need to special summon 3 of them with your Coelacanth. So this card allows you to shuffle 1 of them back if you need to. And also, if you had Barrier Statue of the Torrent in your opening hand, it lets you shuffle back your Barrier Statue of the Torrent as well. So very good. This card, since it sends a water monster and itself, is the trigger for your Deep Sea Sentry. So you discard her and the Deep Sea Sentry, and then you banish 2 cards from your opponent's hand, and you win the game. Gluttonous Rotolfin, Grethus, level 3 Fish Tuner monster. You can target 1 Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua monster in your graveyard with an equal or lower level than the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Special summon it, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can make the synchro monster that used this card as material gain 200 attack and defense for each card currently in your opponent's hand forever. Not once per turn. Very useful card. A very good card, and the main reason we play it is because it's a level 3 fish tuner. Abyssrine, the Atlantean Spirit. This card is insanely good. I have no idea why this is an SR. This card is always treated as a Mermail card, so it is both Mermail and Atlantean. Nice. You can tribute this card from your hand, take one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your hand or field, then take one level 7 Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua monster from your deck. Either add it to your hand or special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for water monsters. During your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, discard one card to the graveyard to draw one card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, now, the second effect is very useful. It allows you to get some interaction during your opponent's turn, because you discard a card, which is going to be one of your Atlanteans or one of your Mermails, and that will allow you to trigger that monster's effect during your opponent's turn. Now, a lot of people like to use, for this, Atlantean Heavy Infantry, which is if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, target one face-up card your opponent controls and destroy that target. So obviously that effect resolving during your opponent's turn is really good. The reason why we're not doing that is because we have way too many other effects that we're trying to resolve in the same deck, and we've ran out of cards. I do not want to play 43 cards just to have this interaction, so I just cut the card. But that's an option for you if you want to mess around with it. The first effect is really, really strong, and the reason why this deck is broken is because this card allows you to special summon Deep Sea King Coelacanth from your deck. And Deep Sea King Coelacanth has always been balanced around the fact that it doesn't special summon itself, and there's not really an archetype around it. So before now, Coelacanth was a card that you really needed to be creative to cheat out. A lot of people would cheat it out they would draw it with by activating the effect of Dorado and putting a water, earth, fire, and wind monster on top of their decks. Then they would link 4 into Saryuja Skull-Lord, draw 4 cards, and then use Saryuja's second effect to special summon the Coelacanth from the hand. And that is, busted, but it's like a 3-card combo that also requires you to spend 4 monsters on link material. This is not that. This is significantly easier to do, and Coelacanth is a broken card. We'll talk about that in a second. So Abyssrine is by far the best card in the deck as far as winning the game. Mermail Shadow Squad, level 3, 0 attack, 1900 defense. This card is always treated as an Atlantean card. So Mermail, again, there's another monster that is both Mermail and Atlantean. You can discard one card to the graveyard. Water monsters you currently control become level 7 until the end of the turn, including this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster effect, special summon one level 4 or lower Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except water monsters. That is mandatory. Great card. So you mill this card off of your Neptibus's effect to add a card to your hand. Then when it goes to the graveyard, you can special summon your Atlantean fish from your deck and trigger your effect and start going off. It's really good. Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Neither player can special summon monsters except water monsters. You can obviously normal summon this monster if you have it in your opening hand, or you can special summon it with the effect of Deep Sea Prima Donna, which is disgusting. Dragoons. Not once per turn. If it's sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, draw a Sea Serpent. Insane. Play it at 3. Mermail Abyss Pike. This is a fish, and also probably the only actual merman in this entire archetype. Level 4, a water fish monster. When this card is normal or special summon, you can discard one water monster to the graveyard. Add one level 3 water monster from your deck to your hand, which will be your Abyssrine. Good card. Right Hand Shark. An Xyz monster that was summoned using only water monsters as material, including this card on the field, gains this effect. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You need 2 level 4s and 1 level 3 that you special summon from your deck with your Coelacanth to make your board. And Right Hand Shark is the only water fish that's level 4 that's actually any good. So that's why we're playing it. My boy, The entire reason that I built this deck was because I saw that it was playing Coelacanth, and this card is just so cool. It's just a good card. I don't know what to tell you guys. Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth. Level 7 Water Fish. As a soft once per turn. I always forget this card is a soft once per turn until I read it. As a soft once per turn, you can discard one card, special summon as many level 4 or lower fish monsters as possible from your deck, but they cannot declare an attack and their effects are negated. It is as many as possible, which means that you don't have the option to, if you have 4 monsters left in your deck and you have 4 spaces on the board, you will have to summon all 4 monsters if you declare the effect, even if you only intended to summon 3. Keep that in mind. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, as a quick effect, you contribute one other fish monster, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. So it does let you dodge Imperm if you have a fish monster on the field, which you usually won't. Good card. Excellent. Mermail Abystius, level 7 Water Aqua Monster. You can discard one other water monster to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. When summoned this way, you can add one level 4 or lower Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, Mermail Abystius can special summon itself multiple times. If you have like 3 of them, you can summon all 3 of them by discarding 3 cards, and that gives you rank 7 fodder. But only one time will it allow you to search. It searches basically everything in your deck. The only card that's in your deck that's actually an Atlantean and not a Mermail is Neptibus, which is kind of annoying, but otherwise, I mean, you'll usually use this to get your Shadow Squad, or you can use it to get your Abyss Spike. It's very important that you use this, card to get your Abyss Spike, because this card isn't actually a Sea Serpent monster, which makes it one of the only cards in the deck that your Dragoons cannot draw. So good card. Okay, then we have Poseidra, the Storming Atlantean, level 7 Water Sea Serpent. While you control a monster except Poseidra, the Storming Atlantean, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can send one other water monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is no more special summon, you can send one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. That's a good effect. You can special summon this card off of your Abyss Rhyme. She lets you summon any level 7 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your deck. So if for some reason you think that the bounce effect of Poseidra, which is any card, not just a monster, is more beneficial to you than Coelacanth, then go off King. But it usually won't be. It's a good card. It's won me some games. Mostly it's in there so that because it's a Sea Serpent, so you can draw it off of Dragoons, and it'll give you another rank 7 if you need it. Lastly, for the monsters, we have Mullen Glacia, the Elemental Lord. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by having exactly 5 water monsters in your graveyard. If this card is special summoned, discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand, or their entire hand if it's less than 2. If this face-up card leaves the field, skip the battle phase of your next turn. That is very annoying, so make sure that you use this card as Xyz material, so that it does not leave your field. Great card. Okay, then there's only a couple of cards left to talk about in the main deck. Obviously, 1 for 1 is send one monster from your hand to the graveyard to summon one level 1 monster from your hand or deck. So this lets you just pull out your Neptibus by discarding any water monster. That doesn't trigger them, by the way. They trigger off of being sent to the graveyard for a water monster's effect. Abyssing Triana. This is the only equipped spell that we're playing in the deck. You can play more if you want to take advantage of something like the Negates that are available to you, because the Mermail King Link monster is actually really, really good. But this card is necessary for our combo, so that's why we're playing it. Special summon one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, equip it with this card, regardless of its level. It's pretty good, actually. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could send this card to the graveyard instead. That is very funny. So, most cards that would most equipped cards that special summon a monster from the graveyard say, like, if this card is destroyed, destroy that monster instead. This one is not only can you pop this card and keep your monster, but if your monster would be popped, you can toss it, just like if it was a Union monster. That's a really good effect. I have to say, this effect, I mean, it doesn't care about the monster's level, and it can summon from either hand or graveyard, and it doesn't target. amazing. There's so many problems with equip spells and cards like Premature Burial, and this card dodges literally all of them. It's actually really insane. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target up to 3 of your fish, sea serpent, and or aqua monsters that are banished in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. You don't need to do this. If you banish this card from your graveyard, you can no longer recover it with your Mermail King, and you want to do that, so just keep it in your graveyard. The last card in the main deck is Virtue Stream. Trap card, target 1 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster you control, 2 cards your opponent controls, and destroy them. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster on the field. If it is a water monster, the next time it will be destroyed by a card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. If it is not a water monster, it becomes water forever. Very amusing thing to do is you can target your opponent's Fiendsmith Engraver, so it is no longer a light fiend, and then your opponent can't use it for link summons or fusion summons, and you laugh at them. Pretty good. Okay, for the X deck, we have Coral Dragon. This is a level 6 Dragon Synchro Tuner monster. If this Synchro Summon card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. Cool. That will be a hand trap, usually. Deep Sea Prima Donna. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners, which will usually be your Coral Dragon plus Neptibus. Your opponent cannot target a Synchro monster that used this card as material with monster effects. Wait, that's a thing? Wait, I didn't know that. That's actually really good. That's a really good lingering effect, actually. You can only use the following effects of Deep Sea Prima Donna once per turn. You target one of your opponent's banished cards, add to your hand, or special summon 1 level 4 or lower water monster from your deck, and if you do, add that target to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 banished card and shuffle it into the deck. Okay, so remember that when we use our 2 monsters, the Deep Sea Sentry and the Deep Sea Minstrel, we are banishing 2 cards from our opponent's hand face up until the end phase. This card interacts with both of those cards. You take one of the cards that is the least egregious, give it back to your opponent early, so they would go back to their hand at the end of the turn anyway, but you just say, okay, you can have it now, and in exchange, you get to special summon Barrier Statue from your deck, which is great. Now your opponent's waterlocked. Then the other card that you don't want them to get back, you synchro your Deep Sea Prima Donna off, and then you can use its effect. You target the card that you banished that would go back to their hand at the end of the turn, and you shuffle it into the deck instead. So now it's gone. Excellent, excellent card. This is how we get our 3rd hand rip. Perfect card for the deck. It's really good. You synchro into Dragites. So I guess Dragite can't be targeted. I didn't know that. I've been using Mermail's boards all wrong. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. When your opponent activates a spell or trap or effect while water monster is in your graveyard, you can negate the activation. If you do destroy it, good enough. Then we also have Ice Jade Gimir Adrian. You will make this card off of your Crocodithus, or what is it called? Grethus plus Coelacanth. 1 water tuner plus 1 non-tuner. As a quick effect, you can activate this effect. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. Then if you activate this effect in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, and your opponent has a card with that name on their field or in the graveyard, you can banish those cards. What does that mean? Alright, so, here's how this works. This is a lingering effect that activates in response to the activation of a card. And it banishes the card in response. In particular, this card is very good against Primite Blue Eyes because it allows you to dodge Primite Drill Beam. Primite Drill Beam is an Omni Negates that also banishes the card that it would negate, and Adrian prevents the card from being banished. It still gets negated, but it wouldn't. But if it's it still gets negated. But if it was Adrian itself, it doesn't matter because she's already used her effect. And if it's not Adrian, then fine. At least you stop it from being banished. And then also, you get to banish the Drill Beam, which means that it can't cycle itself from the graveyard anymore. So that's actually a huge benefit to you. Really, really good card. It also has another effect, which is if a card is banished by your opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, which is insane. Like, if you get called by it, then you can bring back your Adrian. So, yeah, great card. It will usually have 3,400 attack points, thanks to you hand ripping your opponent and then using the effect of Crocodithus. And then that goes up to 3,900 thanks to Abyss Dweller. So it's a decent little beater. That's it for the synchros. The Virtue Dragon. 2 level 3s. If this card is special summon, you could draw Virtue Stream, and then you could detach 1 material from a monster you control, add 1 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your graveyard to your hand. Excellent card. Summoned off of Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark, 2 level 4 water monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, special summon a rank 3 or lower water Xyz monster from your extra deck. Okay, so the way that you summon the Virtue Dragon, you will always choose Dragoon as the material that you detach, and that is treated as being sent to the graveyard for the effect of a water monster, which triggers its search. So always make sure that you detach your Dragoons for Bahamut Shark. Good card. Abyss Dweller, 2 level 4s. While this card has a material attached to it that's originally water, all water monsters you control gain 500 attack points, including Abyss Dweller. Really good. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, and your opponent can activate any card effects in their graveyard this turn. Absolutely disgusting card. 10 out of 10. Excellent Floodgate. Win the game with it. Number 4, Stealth Kraken. 2 level 4 water monsters. All face-up monsters on the field become water during your opponent's main phase, during either main phase. You can destroy 1 water monster your opponent controls without targeting, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack it had on the field. Good enough. Good card. Lock down your opponent to water. Mermail Abyss Gaios, 2 level 7 water monsters. While this card is a material, level 5 or higher monsters cannot attack, both for you and your opponent. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card and negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls with less attack than this card until the end of the turn. That's insane, especially with your Abyss Dweller, so that it has over 3,000 attack points that will hit most bodies. It doesn't target, and it negates everything. So, good card. Poseidra Abyss, the Atlantean Dragon Lord. We are playing this at 2 copies. It requires 3 level 7s, but once per turn you can also Xyz summon it by using an Atlantean or Mermail Xyz monster you control. Once per turn you can detach 2 materials from this card, send 1 water monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and return up to 3 cards your opponent controls to the hand. It's pretty nice. It doesn't target. If this Xyz summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can discard 1 card to the graveyard. Special summon 3 level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua monsters from your hand and or graveyard. Absolutely crazy card. You'll see in the replays and also in the combo video how we use it. Abyss Strike, the Atlantean Spirit. 2 level 7 water monsters. Water monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense for each material attached to this card. If this card is Xyz summon, you can target 1 level 7 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster in your graveyard and special summon it. It also has an effect that says you could detach 1 material from this card to set an Abyss trap from your deck, but they're all terrible, so don't bother. Mermail Abyss Alacia, Link 2, requires 2 fish, sea serpent, and or aqua monsters. Monsters this card points to gain 500 attack and defense points. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. During your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, or send 1 card. Add a Mermail monster from your deck to your hand, and if this card in your possession is destroyed by opponent's attack or card effect, you can send 1 water monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target 1 water monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. Not a particularly interesting card, but it is a good option if you need to get a Link 2 out, so keep that in mind. Marincess Coral Anemone requires 2 water monsters. You can target 1 water monster with 15 or less attack in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to, and then you're waterlocked. Yep, good enough. And lastly, Mermail King Neptibus, Link 3, Sea Serpent, requires 2 monsters, including a fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster. Your opponent cannot target water monsters this card points to with card effects. If a water monster is sent to the graveyard to activate a card or effect except during the damage step, you can take 1 Abyss equipped spell from your deck and graveyard and either add it to your hand or equip it to this card. If a card in the owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect or battle, you can add 1 Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. Great card. Alright, that is the deck. Let's take a look at the replay. Alright, we're going first. Now, our opening hand is not what I would consider to be a typical hand, so we don't have combo. Abyss Rhine, Coelacanth, Abysstis, Abyss Sting, and Virtue Stream. One of the biggest problems here is that since Super Agent Deep Sea King Coelacanth is in our hand, we can't use Abyss Rhine to special summon it from the deck, which would give us a decent board. So here we go. Start things off, we activate Abyssus. We're going to pitch Coelacanth from our hand. Then Abyssus's effect, add Mermail Shadow Squad from deck to hand. Now we're going to activate the effect of our Abyss Rhine to pitch itself and Mermail Shadow Squad to special summon a level 7 from the deck. Our goal there was to try and Xyz summon into Abyss Trite so that we could revive Coelacanth immediately. But our opponent has an Ash Blossom, so that's going to stop our level 7. Unfortunate. Shadow Squad effect, special summon the Neptibus from the deck. Neptibus mill Dragoons to add the Storming Atlantean. Dragoons effect, add Molanglacia. Poseidra, pitch the Neptibus, special summon itself. That triggers Neptibus's mandatory effect, bring back the Atlantean Dragoons. Xyz these two into Abyss Trite, the Atlantean Spirit. Abyss Trite effect, bring back the Coelacanth. Coelacanth pitch 2. Link summon, or no, Synchro summon into Deep Sea Prima Donna. Now we're going to special summon Molanglacia since we have exactly 5 monsters in the graveyard. Discard 2 cards from our opponent's hand. One of them is Tearlament's Rhino Heart, which will special summon itself from the graveyard. Then Tearlament's Rhino Heart's effect activates a Mills Tearlament's Havness, which Metanoise added to his hand. Havness effect, they fuse together. Make hit close. Hit close effect, mill the Tearlament's Celiac to add a Tearlament's monster from deck to hand, another Havness. We're going to activate Prima Donna's effect. We're going to shuffle back the Rhino Heart. Our opponent is going to chain to this with Tearlament's Havness, which would let it special summon and then mill 3. The intent is that they're going to try and fusion summon with the Havness and the Kick Close on our turn. However, at the end of the effect, before Havness can trigger any sort of, proc, Deep Sea Prima Donna is going to special summon our Barrier Statue from the deck. So now our opponent is waterlocked. They can't make any of their dark boss monsters. Alright, rank up into the Poseidra, Abyss, the Atlantean Dragon Lord. Typically we can't do this on turn 1, but because our opponent decided to play on our turn, we're going to detach 2 to bounce, put Kick Close back. We grab Deep Sea Sentry from the deck, and we're going to now rank up Xyz into Abyss Dweller. Activate Abyss Staff to bring back our monster. We needed space, that's why we Xyz summon. Go into Adamant Spear, Risen Dragite, and pass turn. It is our opponent's turn, and they're going to activate the effect. We discharge 1 material to negate a card. Alright, so they're going to try and special summon the Havness from the hand. We are going to chain Abyss Rhine, discard our Sentry to draw a card. We turn off all their grave effects, and then Sentry's effect activates as a Chain Link 2 to banish a card from their hand. They realize that they can't trigger any of their tier limit card effects, so they surrender. And there you go. That is what this deck looks like, even under heavy disruption. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.